Hi, this is Otmishi with Houston Community College. We're in the basement at 3100 Main, and we're going to be talking about some great stuff that we did over the past weekend for Black Hat Defcon. So I'm Otmishi. I'm the Dean for Digital Information Technology, and I'm here with
Samir Saber, Department Chair for Networking and Cybersecurity.
Awesome. This is exciting. This is our first podcast, right? Yeah. And so I think today we want to talk a little more about Black Hat Defcon and maybe talk about how it correlates with what we're doing at HCC. And let's start off with what's the difference between Black Hat and Defcon?
Yeah, so first, both events have so many things going on that it's really, you make your own experience, right? That's one thing that most newcomers are kind of just, they freak out because there's so much to do and they want to do everything, but there's something for everyone. The main difference, Black Hat is I guess is tailored for a more enterprise, more mature crowd, more businesses. And DEFCON is more of the, hackers, cheaper.
Right. There's also a cost associated with that. So I mean, for us, Black Hat was a lot more expensive than
first time.
Yeah, it was first time for me. Was that the first time for you for Black Hat?
Yeah, and I didn't know. It was actually the #1 event in the world as far as attendance goes for IT. So it was over 20,000 this time. So.
We went back in 2017, and I actually attended DEFCON with you. And at that time, I realized that it really is a wealth of information, and there's so many people that want to go, but they may not know really where to start. And I know we brought some great stuff today to talk about. Yeah. But how would you compare the difference between going to Black Hat versus DEFCON? I mean, if it's your first time.
If it's your first time. I mean, you can get a lot from both. I mean, both have a lot of, live demos and groups you can network with. But I think for anyone that's new, if you're looking to make connections, then Black Hat is better. Connections with other organizations, just to work, it's more tailored for that, I think.
Right. What I found out whenever I was going there is DEFCON is really for the individual groups where they can just go and meet people, hang out, where Black Hat is really more towards an enterprise group where you go as a team from different departments. Yeah. And I think, the mindset is in DEFCON you got villages versus in Black Hat you got different tracks, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's true. So Black Hat is more companies that have their researchers out there showing what they did. I mean, DEFCON still has a little bit of that, but it's more of a open to everyone kind of deal. So
right. So how does it correlate with what we're doing at HCC?
So I mean, it aligns with pretty much every cybersecurity course or any programming class we have. So it's a one-on-one. It's really interesting to go every time and see some of the new trends and new villages that are out there, and so to bring it back to the students. So like you said, we got all kinds of toys for our students.
Right. So if I'm a prospective student, I'm looking to take classes at HCC towards cybersecurity, what are my options? What do I have?
So if you want to do cybersecurity, you could start with a level 1 certificate if you don't want to go the AES route right away. So the level 1 certificate is great for those that already have maybe a degree and they want to just skill up, or they want to just quickly get a job. So they can start with a level 1, then it can carries to a level 2, and then they can go to an AES in cybersecurity.
So once they're doing those tracks, though, within that each class is mapped to a particular certification, right?
That's right. So it's a workforce degree. Every class aligns with jobs that are aligned with the state, and industry certification. So they take a class. Every class they take can align to a cert, and so then they can go take the exam and be more employable.
So when we look at DEFCON and we look at Black Hat, so would you say that if you're a prospective student taking classes with us, that while you're in the classes, you should go visit DEFCON just to get a feel for it? Or is this something before or something after? What do you recommend?
I think it's really open for everyone. I mean, not just students, just to really get a grasp for how that culture is. The original DEFCON culture has kind of changed, like the original DEFCON hardcore hackers. Now it's more of a, general worldwide event where everyone just comes to see, what are the latest hacks? Did they just hack Apple or Tesla? What is it going to be this time? So there's that part of excitement.
So, and I think the other excitement is the knowing that you really don't know what to expect from it, right?
Yeah. Every time there's something new. So this time the researchers that hacked the Google Home device showed what they did. there was a lot of car hacking this time around, and a new car hacking village. That was interesting. So
Yeah, it was a Tesla, the Tesla.
the
one,
Tesla,
right.
and then avionics.
Right. And for me, it was just a wealth of information. So I think when I look at it from a student's perspective, though, it's really not just for cybersecurity. It's pretty much for any major, from any student, from any walks of life, right?
That's true. So, I mean, a good example I'll give you. So, the Cyber Fast Track competition that we're part of, it's a SANS national competition. And anyways, long story short, we had a student that was not even a cybersecurity major. He was an electrical engineering major, and he's one of the finalists right now out of 500 people in the nation. And he just took one programming class. He just loved solving puzzles. Because at the end of the day, it really is about solving problems and puzzles and how to be creative, how to get around these devices. And that's the challenge that these really technical, individuals come together, and they really want to solve those, and there's that passion.
So let's go back and rewind. So the dates were. Do you remember when the dates were?
August 6th to the 11th. That was the whole week. So you had Black Hat and DEFCON going together, and then some other events too.
So take me through the experience from the time you landed in Las Vegas to the time you got to your hotel. What's the experience? What's it like?
Well, so there are a lot of vendor events, so parties where you get to like mingle and whatnot, and then of course there's the main events, the main events where they have all the talks. So there are a lot of talks, live demos. There are villages where you can actually get your hands-on experience. Where this time around, I felt like DEFCON had a lot more participation from the industry of experts that really want to just kind of train anyone, the newcomers, just to get their feet wet with some of these things like car hacking and avionics. I mean, who knows this stuff? Like,
Right. So I think once you get there, there's a lot of different events. So I think planning is the key, right? So when you register, you get your booklet, you get your badge.
Yeah. So that's how I was the first time I went. I planned and I was like, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that. But then when you end up going, it's always different, because when you're there and you hear about this talk and this and that, you end up kind of changing your plan. But you can plan ahead, and they have a great app where you can actually add everything you want to do and network.
So one of my feelings towards, I felt like there was so much to do over there and I couldn't see all of it. And I didn't find out till the end that there was a village where they actually have a duplicator where you can bring back all of the material from all the different pieces. Do you want to talk a little more about that and how that works?
Sure. So we actually we got a drive this time. A 10 terabyte drive, and we were able to duplicate all the old talks from DEF CON. So that's great. We'll bring it to our students in the DIT lab, and they'll be welcome to copy it, and of course our faculty as well.
So I think it's also important to mention that we paid for the enterprise license too. So this distribution is not a problem. So our faculty, our staff, students all benefit from this. So it's really cool because even our IT department is going to be benefiting from this as well.
True. So we got Black Hat as well. Black Hat, Europe, even USA, Asia. So all the talks from this year, we got the enterprise license, as Sean said, and we'll make it available to anyone that's related to HCC.
So how do you envision students using that? So I guess we have these innovation labs we've been building across district, and right now at West, we got 2 of them. And so you're looking at students to come in and do projects or look at the videos and maybe pick stuff out?
Yeah, so there are so many different videos, so many different topics. The goal is for students to, if they want to get better at some topic, let's say it's car hacking, and since we're talking about that one, they watch those videos and get better at that. The goal is to make the innovation labs have all the resources, all these toys and everything available, at least to introduce students to these things. A lot of times they haven't even seen what it looks like. So, and of course, we're getting a cybersecurity club going soon, and right now our students are competing in the National Cyber League. So they're doing capture the flag, where it's basically you solve puzzles. A flag is a piece of data that you have to get somehow, and so that's the challenge that they really like, is the gamification of security, of solving those challenges.
Now that's being aligned directly with the capstone course, right?
That's right. So it is every semester we have a capstone for our cybersecurity students. So they compete in the National Cyber League. They compete in the NICE competition. We have a Palo Alto competition going on right now too. That's one of our academic partners. A lot of other ones, but those are the main ones.
So what kind of jobs can students get once they complete the 2-year program? What do you envision them?
So
get?
the good news about cybersecurity students is they're so well versed in different skills, and not just on the technical side, on the business side too, because at the end of the day, you are protecting assets and you're dealing with compliance and legal and things. So those students, they end up doing well as an entry level, and then they can swim their way around more effectively than most other traditional students that are on the AS side, on the theory side. So what kinds of jobs? I mean, they can be technical support specialists, even data center technicians, help desk. And what we've noticed, interesting trend now, is a lot of students are skipping that entry level and they're moving straight to analyst roles or even engineer roles at times because there's such a big demand right now for,
Great.
for those skills.
Tell me about the skill set. So I know we always talk about, people think that they have to be, extremely good on the technical side of it, but what about the soft skills? How does that play into this?
Yeah, it's going back to the example of the student that had an electrical engineering background, there's something for everyone in this field. Like you said, the soft skills are still the number one skill. It's not technical because things are moving so fast that the employers will train you to be seasoned for whatever they're facing and whatever devices or even if it's a nation state actor or organization or risks they're facing, right? So really the technical side is not really the number one thing. It's really communication, teamwork. Will you be dedicated? Are you going to work well as a leader in those areas? And
Right. And so you got the different skill sets. So, we only talk about technical jobs, but a lot of people that are not going to that may be not really interested in doing the technical aspect of it, they can benefit from this program too, right?
Absolutely. So, for example, we have one of our students, she's a nurse, that was a nurse for over 27 years, right? And she decided to go into cybersecurity because she realized that the healthcare industry has such a big void and need in cyber skills. And the fact that she knows the system really well, she can really apply what she learns directly. So we're seeing a lot of that where every industry is converging right now, needing cybersecurity. It is really a critical state for the nation right now.
So with the average age of 27 years old, the students are coming to our classroom, what do you typically see in the classroom that students are registering? Are they coming from a job? Are they coming to get a different skill set? What do you normally see in the classroom?
We see everything. We can see from a 14-year-old kid to 60, 70, or even more. You might have someone that worked 20 years, in the industry and took a break for about 5 years, and then they come back to refresh because if you miss a year, even, like 1 year, you can be out of touch of what's going on. That's how fast it's moving right now.
Wow. So, from 14 all the way up to 70, 80 years old, I think that's probably dual credit, right, for the 14-year-old student? Or?
We had both. We had one on credit side, and so, they're one of them. It's amazing now that same student is actually getting offers to MIT, Stanford, and those kinds of schools.
That's incredible. You start a community college system, take some classes, and from there you're able to move up to an Ivy League school. That is really incredible.
It really is something for everyone. I think the community colleges are really playing a vital role right now, linking the high schools and the 4 universities and the industry needs. Everyone is just flocking to us to partner, and because we are all about the technical skills that they need.
So I also want to mention that when we come back from our break, we're actually going to talk more about what we brought back as the goodies and swag.
Sure.
And I know that y'all out there really want to see that. So when we come back from the break, we'll talk more about that. Thanks. Welcome back. So Samir, I know that this part of this conversation we want to talk about more of the swag and the really cool things we brought. I know the students are really interested in this stuff. I think I want to start off with talking about once you enter DEF CON and you get your schedule and your badge, I want to talk about a little more about the book, and you can talk about planning and so forth on that. So this is the actual book that students will actually receive, or whoever goes to it. And if you want to talk a little more about that.
Sure. You know, the interesting thing about that book, there's always the founder of the event kind of does a little mantra or whatever you want to call it, kind of like a synopsis. And this time around, it was basically that we telling the public that us as hackers need to play nice and really be part of changing the legislation and that kind of thing, how we need to be part of a future that is for the common good. That was the theme this time around. And one thing I didn't mention earlier that was interesting when you mentioned, is there something for everyone? One of the villages is a roots asylum, they call it, where it's for kids. And parents are not allowed in there, which is kind of funny. It's like kids only. And they get trained to learn about these things. So.
That's incredible. So I didn't even realize they had that. So you would leave. I guess they do a waiver probably for that for the kids, and so that's pretty neat. I'd have to probably do that. And I know we also brought other books back. So I know one of the cool things or the scary things about that event is there's a lot of vendors out there, and the vendors provide different types of equipment. You want to talk a little more about that equipment?
Absolutely. So
we got what we call a Land Turtle 3G remote access toolkit here.
A lot of these are from a company called Hack5, and so we're getting a lot of kits for our students that'll be in the innovation lab. This one is called Land Turtle. What it is you can just plug it on someone's network and have a backdoor, so you can always remote to that network and do your thing. That's its main purpose.
Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and open it up.
Sure.
This would be great to do an unboxing, but so you get this little getting start card as well, and you also receive, this is what it looks like. So how does this work?
So this can just be conceived, like, so it can hide. You can take any network cable and plug it here and make it seem like it's the actual cable that was running. So it's, you know, you can put a sticker, do not touch IT, and then they won't know it's there.
Wow, that's incredible. And so you can do quite a bit of damage with this, right, as well, right? So you got the Land Turtle. You also have the book. So I think one of the challenges with any type of hardware is being able to learn how to use it. So how does the book correlate with the hardware? How does that help?
Yeah, the book helps. It's a good start. There's a lot of material out there. The good news about Hack5 is they have a huge community now. A lot of the tools and whatnot have been tweaked to where you can get a lot of the features from other people.
So you hear a lot about Wi-Fi hacking. You hear a lot about how you go to Starbucks and people can access your information. And so you got this box right here, this Wi-Fi pineapple. And you maybe want to talk a little more about this one?
Sure, maybe you can hold this device. This is the bigger one. There's one also called a Nano. So imagine this is called a rogue access point. Rogue meaning it's not the real access point. So imagine if you go to the airport and you have the fake Starbucks Wi-Fi, it says Starbucks free Wi-Fi, and you think it's the right one, you connect, and then you start browsing. Well, then it just starts getting all your passwords, reroutes you to websites that you think are true, like your banking account, and then they get your information that way.
This is pretty intense, and I noticed this book that actually you can buy is about 73 pages long, so it's pretty intense. So if you're someone that's new towards penetration testing, or in this case for using the Wi-Fi pineapple, how much experience do you have to have in order to be able to use this?
The good or bad news, have everyone look at it. It's actually really easy to do this. With these devices, it's really, anyone can do this.
Anyone.
Yeah.
That is scary.
It is, with just a little bit of training.
So we also have the USB rubber ducky.
Yep. That one is another one of those where the fact that all our computers use USB, they accept a mouse and a keyboard, makes it easy for hackers to just plug a USB device, load it with all kinds of malware and things to affect your machine. And so that's what that does. It takes advantage of that flaw.
This is incredible. And so this one, I've noticed the theme is each one has a different type of a booklet as well. So there's instruction manuals too. We brought this back for the students too, right? So
We did, and we spoke to one of their vendors, and we said we want to buy more kits and bring more.
I think that was one of the challenges in the past. We've tried to purchase equipment, and the way they do, they kind of make it hard for us to do it with the school system. But I think they understand what we're trying to get across, and I think that's so important for us to be able to go over there to talk about that and let them help us get what we need. So, do you know much about the Bash Bunny? I know there's a lot of new stuff.
Yes, the Bash Bunny is one of those that's really scary. What that one does is basically you plug a USB to a machine, and it'll just basically, it could short it. It can set it on fire.
This one can.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that I can physically put this in the computer?
And destroy a machine, yes.
That's what this one does.
That's what that one does.
So I don't think IT would be very happy with us having
No.
this, right? Okay. So this would be a great presentation to do on an old computer that is no longer being used, right?
Yeah.
We should do that. We definitely need to do that as well. I know you out there
Good
would
idea.
love to see that as well. We're definitely going to do that. And so, of course, there is a guide to the Bash Bunny as well. I love the characters on there. It's so neat. And, this is some proprietary equipment too, right? So you can't just buy this at, any retail store.
Not that one, but people have made their own versions of the Bash Bunny, yeah.
Oh, they've made their own versions
Their
of it.
own.
Oh, wow, that's even scary. And then you also have the Proxmark 3. This is the battery add-on to it. And there's probably more with it, right? And so can we talk a little more about the Proxmark and how that's important? So you got the antenna. This is really for the RFID card, right?
Yeah, that's right. And then
Duplication.
just like this one here.
So you can actually. So this is the RFID duplicator.
Yep.
So maybe you can talk a little more about RFID just in general.
So this, you can duplicate the signal that your garage door opener or your car opener will do, and this will save all of them. But the reason why we have this is really to be able to play with it and hack it, quote unquote, to see how they work and how we can intercept RFID signals. And so one thing that I bought over there, because they have so many great toys, I bought a wallet, and I recommend anyone to get an RFID wallet. That way all those tap to pay cards don't get compromised. You see that all the time.
Jeez. And I noticed that, we're talking about security, and one of the things that we talk about is not only about cybersecurity, but also physical security. That's also a challenge too. So you maybe want to go a little more about this key set that we have here. Let me see if I can pull it out.
Sure.
Hold
So
it.
this is for lock picking. So that's a whole other side of cybersecurity. It is to pick locks. And at DEFCON, originally when we went a few years ago, the lock picking village was one table, with a few locks, and now it's this time around it was a huge hall. That's something we want to bring at HEC in some capacity, but probably just through the security club, I think.
I think it's important for us to look over all aspects of security, especially with what we're doing. So I guess this equipment is constantly changing and evolving, and they're coming out with new attacks as well, both physical as well as software-based. What are some of the challenges that we have here with teaching students about this equipment? What's one of the biggest challenges you think we would have?
I think, one of the biggest challenges is first not having the device and not being, not making it, I guess, part of the curriculum per se. But it's all up to the faculty to do this. I think there are so many challenges out there. It's everyone have to kind of get out of their shell and go experiment. I'll give you an example. So this time around, DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects.
I'm glad you know it,
Something.
so DARPA, okay, yeah.
Research
Right,
Project Agency.
right.
This time they're working on a $10 million challenge for improving voting machines, and this time around at DEF CON they brought just the hardware, the software piece they're working on, but they're letting people from DEF CON tinker and try to hack at least the hardware to find bugs and whatnot, and you're seeing that a lot where government agencies are coming back to the roots per se and finding that talent.
Right. I also want to mention that, at Houston Community College, what we're doing over here is we're not looking to reinvent the wheel. We're really trying to provide awareness for a lot of these things. And for me, I went to Houston Community College myself many years ago, and I always used Houston Community College as a great place to start, and it doesn't mean that you have to finish. So a lot of our degrees, they transfer to our four-year institutions. So can you talk a little more about our articulation agreements with the U of H system?
Sure, they do. So right now, UHV aligns with us directly. A&M also, although it's not official, we are part of a grant with them. It's called the Scholarship for Service Grant, where they take our full 2 years. It's long story short, a student can do his second year at HEC, 2 years at A&M. They get 22K stipends every year, and then they get a job for an intel agency like the FBI and SA for 3 years.
Wow.
So it's an amazing opportunity. Students will be able to apply for this in the fall. So other schools that we're working on right now, UHD, we're almost there. U of H Clear Lake and Lamar University as well.
So when we talk about these agreements, it pretty much means that our degree plan will be able to transfer X amount of courses directly into their four-year degree. So if you have an associate science in computer science, you can transfer directly into a bachelor of science in computer science. We call them an articulation agreement, but every school has that, and we have quite a bit. So if you go to HEC's website and actually search for transferring, you'll be able to find all this information on our website at heccs.edu. So tell me a little more about what you see in the future of our department for the digital information technology.
The good news is it's really hard to predict. There are so many moving parts right now, but some of the great things we're doing, so the SOC and the cyber range build out that we're working on, we're really excited about that. The ICS village for getting practice with SCADA systems, because in Houston right now, anything industrial is really in danger.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to do that. And of course, the new AI program.
Great. Great. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing, and I know we're getting short to time. Would you let everybody know how they can reach you, and how can they reach our department through the website maybe?
Sure. So we have an email that anyone can email. It's dit.office, and then any of us in the team will be able to reply. They can also, of course, contact me directly via email. I'd be happy to answer any calls.
Okay. And so we'll put that email address as well as the phone number. You can also go to hccs.edu/digital for more information. Thank you very much for watching the show. I'm Sean Otmishi. And
Samir Saber.
Thank you.
Thank you.